How's it going, everybody? Benny Chris 12 here. Today I am a little bit more dressed up, and if you're wondering why, it's because I just got done with school, and there happens to be females at school. I'm not trying to look bad. That's right, I'm single. I don't know how. Just kidding. Anyway, well, I am single. I'm not joking about that. Today we are going to make a survival bag, mainly just a survival kit. I did a video like this a while ago, and looking back on it, literally everything I had in there, I was like, knives upon knives upon knives. Like, I thought knives were the key to survival, and I figured it would be a lot better. I have an empty bag here, so literally you can pack one alongside me. You can add as much as you want, or not add things that I add. The point of this is we're going to assume our resources are unlimited of what we can stick in this bag because we're packing it ourselves. Obviously space isn't unlimited, so we're going to have to organize it. But these are my top items regardless of anything else I would have. And I think there's only about 8 items-ish, like category-wise, that I would have in here. And I take pretty much everything you see here with me every single time I go camping. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, just starting with an empty bag, multiple compartments. I like to keep it organized. I've had this bag for a while. It was on Amazon, like 15 bucks. Let's start off with like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Your first, very bottom tier is physiological needs, so not like shelter or any of that jazz. That means what does your body need to survive before you die? The best answer is water, second best is food. So whenever I go camping, if I am not taking water with me, I'm going to need some way to get water. I have this little pot, it's like a 16-ounce pot, comes with 2 cups, so it's kind of nifty. You can boil water in it. If you've never just boiled water from a stream, it tastes extremely good. You literally just take like a cloth or like your shirt, put it over, catch the water so it kind of filters it, and then you boil it for 15 minutes and let it cool off, and it tastes really, really good. So that's one way. But say you happen to be in an area where there's not running water, or you happen to not have fire. The second thing you're going to need, maybe a life straw. Now, I cannot personally vouch for these because I have not used one, but from everything I've seen, they look really good. I got one for Christmas, and so I've decided next time I go camping, I'm going to use it. I can do a review if you guys want. I mean, there's multiple ones out there, but it's always good to have 2 forms of water sources in case one doesn't pan out, or you happen to be traveling and you just need water. You're going to die without water pretty quickly. You can live a long time without food, especially depending on your body size. Me, I obviously wouldn't live that long compared to someone who has like a lot more of a fat storage. So water, very, very, very important. And I know my head's getting cut off a little bit. I'm not going to kneel though. It's like barely. I'm sorry. So anyway, I like to stick these in this pouch. Not like the pouch matters, that's specific to you, but 2 forms of water sources. I'm not going to throw this in there because it's still in the box. I don't want to take it out. It's going over there. Another option, this is literally just an option. Typically, if I'm going anywhere camping, I like to just take 2 bottles of water and toss them in my bag. However, if you're making a long-term bag that you like to have sit, these emergency water pouches don't go bad, and they don't have the plastic that leaches into the bottle, or into the water from the bottle. So you can throw emergency water in there if you prefer. I typically don't, but it's an option if you need it. So just make sure you have water covered in any survival kit, because I looked at a bunch online and none of them have a good way to get water. Some of them have like plastic containers, some of them have metal, which you could boil water in, but really water is going to be your #1 concern before you die. Second, obviously goes right along with the water, is you're going to need some way to start a fire. Now, I take matches, I take lighters, and I take flint and steel. You're going to need all of it, and this is actually a very used magnesium rod as well. Magnesium flint. I got it for a few dollars at the store. There's also like those little blocks. I don't like those as much. I really prefer the rods. I recommend these. I've started multiple fires with them. You can watch tons of videos on how to start fires with flint rods. They work great. They're pretty primitive. Really good as a last resort, or I normally use these to start my fires first. Like I use them before I would use matches or a lighter, just because it's fun. It's good for practice. So multiple ways to start a fire. That way, say lighter runs out of fluid, you run out of matches, you still have your flint rod, and then there's even, you can stick some stuff. So, but that was 2. Third, obviously going along with the flint, you're going to need some form of seal. I like to take a fixed blade and a pocket knife. I have multiple pocket knives. One, I take the fixed blade because it's easy to carry, good for filleting, and the pocket knife is just good for little handy carvings, and it's just good to have both. In case you lose one, you have the other. And I have lost knives when I've gone camping and I've been stuck with nothing. That's why I think it's pretty important to take at least 2. I like to clip these on the outside of my bag. Now, a must tool of some form is some way to cut wood or chop down limbs. I've used a hatchet and a machete before, and over the 2, a machete is my #1 choice. This is a Gerber Gator machete. I've had this one since I was 12. I am 20 now. This has lasted me a very, very long time. It's very well used, still stays sharp. It's sharper than any of my friends' axes that they've used. And typically everyone asks me if they can use this because it just tends to be better than what everyone else has, and I prefer it so much. They also have a longer version that's like out to here. You could get that if you really wanted to. I think it's not exactly necessary. I really like that they make the shorter version. They've made the same style for quite a long time. I don't think they'll stop anytime soon because it's a pretty well bought product. And plus side to it is it has that saw on the back side. Having that multi-purpose really gives a tool a lot of benefit, especially if it's a well-built multi-purpose, so you have a machete and a saw and it's very well built. Okay, next I like a source of light. Typically I take 2 flashlights, a headlamp and a regular flashlight. Doesn't matter what brand. It's just strongly recommended that you have some light, that way you're not just going off of the light of a fire. Next, moving on, I also see this one as a must-have, is a first aid kit. So I have medical tape in here, liquid adhesive, bandages, I even have a sewing kit in here, a lot of random things, antiseptic wipes, your basic kit. Except for this is one thing I added myself. You can probably just see shiny foil in there. That is an emergency blanket, and let me tell you, emergency blankets are 100% your best friend in a winter environment. I've used them multiple times when camping, and I have never stayed warmer. In fact, once I was just camping in a hammock in the rain with a tarp over me and an emergency blanket, and I stayed warmer than people who stayed in a tent. So you can sleep very comfortable with them, and I completely vouch for them. And I actually almost forgot about this. This is a reusable emergency blanket. I've used it a couple times, and I bought that once I got into the habit of using an emergency blanket every single time I went camping. Because once I used like 3 of them, I was like, well, I can buy this big one for $10 or buy like another one for $2 that I'm just gonna have to throw away after. So I just got the reusable one, and it has been a good investment. They are not like as flexible, I guess that's the one downside, but you can still, it works waterproof like a tarp, very durable. So if you're gonna use them a lot, and you have the space for it, like I did in this bag, I'd say go ahead and throw a reusable one in there. Lasts you a lot longer. And the last must-have, like without a doubt, I 100% think you should have this, is paracord. Paracord, out the wazoo. You're gonna need a lot of it. I use probably 50 feet every time I go, just for random things. You can use it to make snares, use it to make shelter, take out the guts, make fishing line and whatnot, which I guess kind of goes alongside. You could also take fishing line, just toss that in the bag. Now, if I were to add anything else to this that I don't have in here, just because I don't actually have this equipment with me right now, is I 100% would add fishing gear. Just because of the area I live, fishing is pretty, I don't know what the word is. There's a lot of places to fish. You can catch a lot of fish. It's a good source of food. So I think that about does it for things I think you 100% should have of some form in your bag. You should comment down below if you think that there's anything I missed, but I think I handled most of it. One other thing I might add, just kind of as a luxury, would be an axe, but I'd have to have a high quality axe. Like I said, this machete pretty much covers it all. I've had it for 8 years and it's never failed me. Big axe is kind of heavy, but the bright side to an axe is you can use it as a hammer too, which would really help whenever you're building shelters. Now, here's one thing that I know probably some of you are going to wonder why I didn't say. I 100% don't think you should have a gun in this bag. Now you're probably wondering why, because they make very concealable .22 rifles, which I think are awesome. You take a pistol, easily put it in there. I don't think you should do that because if you leave a gun in a bag like this, and say especially if you're leaving it sitting for long term, anyone can just walk by, pick it up, and it's gone, like that. Which is why I think if you're going to take a gun, which I am a very strong believer in gun rights, and I think it's okay for someone to have a gun if you are safe and trained. Take a gun, but keep it on yourself, like on your side. The gun is not something you should just leave in these bags, and I think a few times like people will wonder about that, like why didn't you have like something in there. It's really mainly a safety thing. I don't think a gun should be packed in a bag. I think that should be kept on a person to keep someone else from using it from you, or just from someone stealing it. So I guess that's really all I have to say. I'm trying to think of other things that you shouldn't pack in here, but I really don't know that I can think of anything. I'm sure you guys can think of stuff. Main thing is be safe. Hopefully you never have to use these survival bags, and these are honestly just camping bags of stuff you take with you when you go camping. And you're never forced out in a survival situation, but if you are, I hope you are prepared, and I hope this video helped you some. Just think of some considerations, and I hope this video helped out a lot more than my last video, where pretty much everything I was just like, yeah, take a knife, you'll be fine. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down below and leave a like. I really don't know what else to say. So I'll see you guys in the next video.